Anna, and I'm a singer.
Hi, my name is Peyton, and I'm a dancer.
And today, what are we doing today?
Today, we are back with another requested reaction to a group that we have never reacted to on this channel before, and we'll be watching Bling Bling for the first time.
We are reacting to Bling Bling for the first time today, and we will be watching their song Oh Mama, which is, I believe, their most recent comeback that came out in May of this year. They are a rookie girl group that we didn't really know anything about, so we looked at their profile, and they are 6 members from Major 9, and they debuted in the end of last year. That being said, let's go! It just starts right away.
Oh, there's already, I can tell, lots of skirt choreography.
Really?
I was in the middle of that before they started using the skirt.
What's people? I didn't catch what they said during this part.
Oh, Nana. What is this?
Pirate ship.
Based on when I saw like the thumbnail with the skirts, I was expecting it to be a lot less intense. Yeah, like
Me too. Based on the first shot,
oh,
I was like, oh, it's like a summer song, like fun, like. But they keep going in and out with like the cartoon shots. Just or not like animation.
oh.
Interesting. Mm. Oh. Does she have braces? Wait, cute! Not gonna lie, I kind of hope that they've like... Is there a separate video that's entirely just the animation?
That'd be really cute.
Oh.
Oh, did you? Mm.
Space pirates.
Oh!
Black roses. Oh. And then an ending sort of party thing.
Same choreography, just done in a circle. Because they're on a pirate ship, every time they move their skirts, I'm just thinking about pirate flags and like sails, yeah.
I'm still going with space pirates. I'm sold on it.
I mean, they are in space.
Mm. Oh,
Mm.
they had the extra little do at the end.
Let's talk about the skirts, obviously. I said in the reaction, like when I had just seen the thumbnail, I was expecting something very different from what was going to be happening in the dance, and like it starts immediately and never lets up. But I do really enjoy the contrast of the more traditionally like delicate skirts with the more powerful movements, because it's sort of highlighting both femininity and strength. What I mean by that is more just that when you see skirts, like if you showed those skirts to most dancers and just said like, guess the sort of style we're going to be doing with these, right? They'd be guessing something very sensual, something very sultry, or something that's more like whimsical, light, like pretty. Instead of that, you're getting literally like power stances and things that traditionally in dance don't go in female choreography. Like standing in second position and doing pliés, which are when you bend your legs out to the front in a skirt, is like against the traditional rules of dance. Something else that I really like about the skirts is that they take up a lot of space on stage, because like, yeah, they are dancing with them and throwing them around, but there's also a lot of moments where they use them as sort of like, not props, but almost like sets, especially when they're doing group work. They'll use them to like hide their faces, almost like you've turned the lights off on one half of the stage so that you highlight this half of the stage. And they also fill up dead space in the stage where they'll like hold it out behind them or something, and so it brings a lot more depth and a lot more fullness to the stage. But then in terms of the composition of the choreography, it's pretty repetitive. They do a lot of the same movements multiple times, from like the first part and then the first chorus and then the second chorus and then the final chorus. It's a lot of the same movement. I would say that the second chorus is probably the most different of all of them because they change up their hand movements a little bit. But the reason that you don't get bored of it is for two reasons. One, it really is the skirts. Like, I know I keep talking about it, but the choreography is made to highlight the skirts. Like, that's the whole key point. Also, they change formations a lot and they change levels a lot. So even if they're doing the same choreography in the first verse, for instance, they're all doing it in a line at the same level. And then in the last chorus, when they're doing it again, they're doing it in two different groups at different heights. So they're changing it up for your eyes so that you're not quite realizing as you're watching it, like, oh, I've seen this before, if you're not looking for something like that. So that keeps it really interesting. And then the last thing I wanted to say was I thought it was really cute how at the very end, the pose they're doing, I realized when I was looking at it and then their logo popped up, they're building their logo on stage because it's like a gem that has like the way it's written. Yeah, so I thought that was really, really interesting and I really liked that. I was like, oh, that's all I gotta say. Anna's turn.
Okay, so for my comments, I also started my comments with it being different than I initially expected, and I know we talked about it in the reaction, but also like visually based on what you're seeing, at least from like the first shot of the music video that we had pulled up, it seemed like it would be more of like those light, playful summer songs, because also you saw the long skirts, and I was like, oh, it's usually like flowy, like the waves and the beach for summer. But like you also said, the song was like intense, sort of aggressive, non-stop movement right from the start, and I'll talk more about that later, but like talking about some of the instrumental layers that they use that convey that sort of like, it's not really aggressive, but it's like very assertive, sort of in your face, like come at me. So one of those instruments is the use of the drill snare, like the brrr sort of sounding snare. That's like constant movement, and also since it's like a drill sound, it's kind of like more overwhelming in that sense. Also the synth bass that they're using. In the chorus, it's more rhythmic, but like in the verses and in the pre-chorus, it's very punchy. Every single time it hits, it's like a hit, like boom, 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 and it sort of sits out in that way. Like I mentioned, even in the pre-chorus is more melodic. Like in the verses, it kind of makes sense because those are like the rap sections, but in the pre-chorus, when they're singing and it feels kind of more flowy, at least based on the melodic line, when the bass comes in, it's like boom. So it's like that feeling that I was talking about again. Other things like that, they have a lot of clap sounds that they use in the background, especially in the chorus. Also, there's a lot of like group singing, chant moments, one to like show unity as a group, also just like the style of the song. There's a lot of elements that feel kind of like anthem-esque too, like along with the percussion that they're using, it's very like reminiscent of the way that they're being played isn't like a drum line, but the instruments being used sort of feel like a drum line. And also like with the chanting, like sort of shouting, it's like that rookie energy that we always talk about, which also is like the same idea as like the song never letting up, never stopping, and right from the start just we're here, we're going. Yeah, like even the bridge, which is the more like pulled back section of the song, instrumentally it definitely is more pulled back because also like you don't hear the underlying percussion, at least for the first half of the bridge. But the reason why to me it still feels like the same high intensity level as the rest of the song is because the way that the melody is being sung, like the stylistic choice is with the same attitude that the rest of the song has been sung. Like the emphasis, like the diction, it's sort of like sassy and very confident that the rest of the song has had. And then like in the second half of the bridge, the percussion comes back in for the build up for the last chorus. Last thing I wanted to say was just like a couple of very specific lines that I really liked. So during the verses, there's this like background descending perk line that's like that I really liked. Another line was the transition from the verses into the pre-chorus. The line that's being sung is doubled with the instrument in the background, and it's more like interesting the intervals that they're using. But those are all of my comments. Yeah.
TLDR for this reaction is we reacted to Bling Bling for the very first time, and they kind of caught us off guard and by surprise from what we were expecting based on the thumbnail and the outfits and what we were looking at. But I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that we were both kept very entertained, and I'm curious to see what they will do next, if they'll continue in this style.
But that being said, if you would like to talk with us more about Bling Bling, about this song, about K-pop in general, feel free to reach out at our socials, which are linked in the cards. And if you enjoyed this reaction video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and bye!